morning. It is Monday again. We are currently eating breakfast. And when I say we, I have a breakfast burrito here. And he likes to eat the eggs out of it. Yes. No matter what is on there, salsa, cheese, whatever. He likes the eggs, he likes the breakfast burritos, so he steals food from mommy's plate. I am going to be reading this one here, The Art of Being Normal by Lisa Williamson. This is the book for my Make Your Myth Taker TBR for the last oracle, no, the last goddess prompt, which is to read a book that was randomized by your TBR. So, randomize on your TBR. Okay, more eggs, more eggs, more eggs. Chico. So what I did is I have a TBR shelf on Goodreads that has all of my owned and unread books, and I randomized it, and this is the book that popped up. I've had this for a few years now. It is a YA contemporary LGBTQ book. I know there is a rainbow on the cover, but I'm pretty sure it is dealing with a character who is trans. Like, I don't know if they're figuring out that they're trans or if they know and they just haven't come out yet. And I do believe the paperback version of this book has the correct flag. Just as an FYI. Let me get you more. Yes. Egg. Good egg. Good baby. Okay, but so while we're eating, I'm going to put on some BookTube. I have gotten a little bit behind. Just a second, babies. You're okay. I've gotten a little bit behind on watching BookTube stuff, and that is fully on me and trying to read, and he wants more eggs. So I'm gonna let you guys go, and I will see you later. Hi. We have not read anything yet, or when I say we, me. I've read some books to him, but we also just finished filming the mid-year book freakout tag. He was in it with me for a while, and then I think he got bored, so he went to go with daddy for like the end of it. But yeah, cute baby in that video, which will be up before you guys see this one. We also have a very sleepy kitty in my spot on the couch right now. This is also the cat that lets Presley attack him all the time. Oh, we fell. Were you just trying to sit on my leg? Whoop, careful, dude. But yeah, Presley will attack this cat like all the time, and he doesn't care. He's used to younger kids and babies, because, whew, how old is he now? Hi. I want to say at least 7, oh, maybe like 8, at least 8 years old. And so my sister currently is 10, and so when we got him, I was living at home, and she was like 2-ish, and yeah, they're used to kids attacking them and just loving them so much. Yeah. Okay, well, his bucket's over here. He loves his bucket. I'm gonna figure out something for us to do. I don't know if I'm gonna be reading yet, but at least we got a video filmed. Hi. So we're cuddling, although he was playing on the floor recently, and I'm trying to watch the Artemis Fowl movie on Disney Plus. I know I said I was gonna do this like 3 days ago in my last vlog, but I just never found the time. And I'm like probably like half an hour into it now. Nothing is the same, basically. I knew this was probably gonna happen because the trailer did not look the same, but this is like one of my absolute favorite middle grade series from my childhood. Yes. And all it's doing right now is making me want to reread the books because it's not similar, like, at all. Like, we have fairies, we have some of the main characters with the right names, but like, yeah. But like Artemis Fowl mom in the movie is apparently dead. Like she's in the book series. His dad was in it in the beginning and then he got kidnapped, but like he's not in the first book like at all. Also, Butler is in the movie, but they're not allowed to call him Butler unless you want to like get tackled or something. I can't remember exactly how they phrased it, but they were like, you have to call him Dom or Domovoy, and that's it. Like you can't call him Butler. But that's what they call him in the books like the entire time. Like it is just annoying me so much that they changed it on purpose. Like why? Why did they change that? Also, Mulch Diggums, which is in the first book and everything, is sort of like narrating. And I don't know how I feel about that because that just sort of seems like a weird choice for me. So we'll see. We just got to a part where like Holly and Foley and Commander Root and everything are in here. Commander Root is played by Judi Dench, so not a guy. At least I'm assuming not a guy. We'll see how this goes. I'm gonna try and watch more now. We're gonna have dinner soon. I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to finish it tonight because of that one. But yeah, I mean like it looks really pretty. The acting's not horrible, especially since they have some really big names in it like Judi Dench, Colin Farrell. We have big name actors in it. But the details, like it is so not the same. And I'm annoyed. I really do sort of wish my husband was watching this right now because at least then he'd be able to give me a perspective of the movie from somebody who hasn't read any of the books. But I don't think that's gonna happen because he has been working from home, so he's still doing that right now while I'm watching this. We'll see. So I was naughty. I did not read anything last night. At all. That's the PlayStation turning on. Let me mute it. But yeah, I did not read anything last night. I did end up actually using the last of the overtone, like deep conditioner, hair dyeing stuff that I had first used a couple months ago and then was just sort of, you know, keeping up semi with it with the hair conditioner, like the daily conditioner, although I don't use it daily. I'm very bad at maintenance, but I wanted to do it again fully, so now my hair is going to be a little bright for I think the first couple days is what it usually was. Like even I think my scalp a little bit at the front didn't fully, well, it got rinsed out, it just stained a little bit, but like even when I use the daily conditioner, my hands will, my palms will stain a little bit, but it goes away within a couple days. So I'm not worried about it, but that took a little while instead, and then I was tired. So I did not get any reading done. I feel a little bit bad about it because that's the first time I haven't read anything so far in June. I've been trying to make it a goal to like read something every day, even if it's just like 1 chapter, 10 pages, anything like that. And I've been doing okay. January I read every single day. February I missed some days because that was back when we could still do stuff. March I think I only missed like maybe 1. I don't even remember April or May. May I might have read almost every single day. Like I've been reading pretty well, which is why I've been reading so many books in a month. But I did not read yesterday. So I still need to finish Artemis Fowl because we only got about halfway through. That's what happens when you have him now. We get halfway through a movie and we don't get to finish it until like the next day. So yeah, he's waiting for the TV to turn on. Like the PlayStation's on, but I haven't actually turned BookTube or anything on yet. Are you waving at Nai? Yes. Oh, you shy. He just woke up from a nap. So yeah. Okay, I'm gonna have some coffee. We're gonna put on BookTube probably for a little while and just chill. Say bye-bye. Yeah, good job. Yeah. Okay, so Yaya and Nai just stole the baby to eat some avocado. And I think I'm gonna start The Art of Being Normal. I completely forgot what the title was, and all I saw was normal on here. I talked a little bit about what this is supposed to be about yesterday. My days are all mixed up already. It's only Tuesday. It's only Tuesday. But I talked a little bit about it yesterday. I did not read it yet, so I think I'm gonna get some reading done. It's like 350-ish pages, I think, 344. So it is definitely something that I could finish pretty easily because it is a YA contemporary. The text font is pretty big. So yeah, I think I'm gonna try and start this. One thing also, I think I might make a video about it eventually, but for the last couple days, and then I finished last night, I had been making a shelf on Goodreads for all of the TBR books on my Kindle, like ones that I already own, because I have a TBR shelf on Goodreads for the physical books that I already own, which is like 400 and something. Sorry about that. But I wanted to be able to keep track of my TBR books on Kindle so that I knew what I had, because some of these books that are on this app here, because I have the Kindle app, are years old, or they're ones that I got on sale, or they were free, or who knows. But I finished last night while I was dyeing my hair, and if you guys can see that, I have over 100 books to be read on my Kindle. So yeah, that's quite a bit. I'm hoping to start reading more ebooks. Last year I only read 66 books, and when I say only, that's because my goal usually every year is 100, and I've already read like 70 something, almost 80 this year, and it's June. So I usually can complete that goal. Last year, with the pregnancy and the delivery, and I had a family member pass away, I just did not quite get back into it for reading in the like second half of the year as much. They're so loud in there. So yeah, my reading took a little bit of a hit, and the things that I did read, I read quite a few ebooks, which is why this year one of my goals was to read more of my physical TBR. But that means I still have a lot of ebooks that I haven't read, and I have purchased a few recently. I haven't purchased as many as I have before, but I do have some. So yeah, I don't know. I still think my goal this year is definitely to try to read more of my physical TBR, because I have so many, and I can't stick to a book buying ban. But yeah, I think that's a whole nother video that I'll have to go through eventually. We're gonna start this one. You climbing? Yeah, you're so silly. One of his favorite things to do with this wagon that somebody got him is to climb on it. Yes. Such a big boy. On a pile of baby books today. So good morning and happy Wednesday. I finished this last night. I'm giving it 2 stars. So basically, I have had this on my shelves for a while. It got published in like 2016, which means I've had it on my shelves for basically 4 years. And I feel like when I purchased it back then, I might not have either known that this wasn't Own Voices or not known about Own Voices. I feel like the prevalence of Own Voices work has been happening a lot more recently, and by recently I mean within the last like couple years probably, so it's either my ignorance or publishing's ignorance, I don't know, but this is not an Own Voices book. I probably would have given this book a 3 stars because it was fine, nothing special. However, there are issues in here that I have issues with. I can't really say that I'm gonna give it a 1 star because I basically reserve that for the books that I DNF because there's just something like horribly wrong with them, super boring, you know, that kind of stuff. And it wasn't like super boring. I definitely ended up reading this in 1 day, almost 1 sitting. I had read like 20 to 30 pages early yesterday that you guys saw, and then I read the rest in bed, and I basically decided within a few more pages after that, like 20-30 pages, I think I got up to like maybe page 50 and was like, it's not bad, but I don't know how I feel about this book. If I put it down, I'm not going to finish it. So I just read it straight through. It's like a 340 something pages. It only took me 2.5 hours, maybe 3 hours total. I don't even think it took me that long. So I finished it. But basically, this is a coming of age, figuring out yourself and transitioning, question mark, sort of story about a trans girl. And it's written by somebody who has not Own Voices. And one of my things that I personally feel is that people can write diversity in their story no matter who they are, what background they have, you know, that kind of stuff. However, if you're writing the story of them, you know, figuring out that they want to transition, or if you're writing a black character and you're having them overcome problems that you can't actually that you can't actually have any sort of experience with, then you're not doing it justice. You're not doing it right. Like, I would rather read those kind of stories from Own Voices authors. I don't want somebody who is straight writing a gay coming of age character or story. I would rather just have them have gay characters that are gay, and it's just, that's what it is. So that's part of my issue with this book. However, because this is a story of a trans girl, but they're trying to figure out who they are in this story, they are called he, him through like 95% of it. Even though they tell us all the time, she tells us all the time that she wants to be a girl or feels like a girl. We have 2 perspectives in this story. I feel like I'm gonna have to give spoilers with this, even though I don't think they necessarily should be spoilers, but just be aware. I will put a timestamp down here in case you want to completely skip this book, but I'm going to be going into stuff. We have 2 characters in this book. One is Kate, who they call, I guess, her dead name, because they don't really go into that in this book. I don't want to deal with it. And a character named Leo. For about, actually, I think it's just over half of this book, I had no idea why Leo was really in here besides a new kid at school who our main character, Kate, wanted to sort of be friends with, but there's no romance in here. I was a little bit confused by that. And it turns out, just over halfway through, which is sort of almost like a plot twist or a reveal, that Leo is a trans boy. And so, I don't know, I feel like Leo, because he was already sort of transitioned at the beginning of this book, he feels more like he's accepted as a legitimate boy than Kate is as a girl, even though we should know as the reader that Kate is a girl, but they're constantly using he, him pronouns for her. Also, when Kate tells Leo that she is a girl, Leo keeps using he, him pronouns. Once Kate tells Leo that she would like to be referred to as Kate, there are times where he calls her, again, I don't know if it's technically a dead name, because again, I'm not trans, I don't know. But it was stuff that was making me very uncomfortable to read, especially since this is not own voices. This is not somebody's personal experience. This is just what I'm assuming is a straight white woman writing about this. She is definitely cisgender for the author, but like, I had issues. I feel like there was one other issue in here that I can't fully remember, because the major issues, oh no, I'm remembering it now. The major issues are related to misgendering of our main character. I guess this doesn't necessarily have to be an issue. For me, it was an issue in a book like this where people are trying to figure out their gender identity. There are a couple scenes that could definitely be triggering for like transphobia and abuse and a parent not supporting your, I don't want to say it's a choice, you're who you are. Who you are, because this is not a choice, this is who you are. So yeah, the writing style and everything, and characterization as an actual like personality of the main characters and side characters, I would have given this a 3 stars. Nothing fully special, but it wasn't bad. But with that other stuff happening, I'm gonna have to give it a 2. I almost feel like it's probably closer to a 1, but it's not nearly as bad of a book as other things I've read this year or DNF'd this year. But this was my last book for the Make Your Myth Taker Readathon. I have now completed both paths, the Oracle and the Monarch. Switching to Goddess, this is my final one for the Goddess, reading a randomized book from my TBR. Which means we are now moving into the Olympic Games Readathon. I posted my TBR for this at the end of last week. I will leave it linked down below in case you guys have not seen it, but I am joining Team Artemis, House Artemis, Cabin Artemis. I don't know how the terminology is working for this one. And so I have a stack of books here that I'm hoping to read. The first 5 of them are the mandatory challenges and prompts that in order to compete for my house, those are the ones I need to complete first. And then we have 3 other ones for the advanced challenges. And I am dying to read this one. I already knew that this is probably going to be one of my first books for this readathon. However, I also have a graphic novel that's like barely 100 pages. That I also really, really want to get to. So I think I'm gonna read this one first to sort of get back on track with my week and read more than just like 2 books in 3 to 4 days. Because I didn't read on Monday, and I don't know, I feel like I wasted a day with The Art of Being Normal. So this is my first, well, this is my first choice, but this is the one I'm going to read first. I'm very excited for this. This I don't know much about, but we have some sort of demon character here, and on the back it talks about a hippie in a school bus. I'm assuming it's this one. Kaylin Smith does the art and the story for this. I have absolutely loved her work since I purchased the first couple volumes of Plume at a Phoenix Comic-Con, probably, oh gosh, 4 years ago, 3 years ago? I don't know exactly, 3 or 4 years ago. I like to buy a lot of like independently published graphic novel comic stuff, also some independently published like books. But she had written Plume, which I think was originally a webcomic, and then they were doing comic bind-ups like in volumes, and that was like a fantasy western, which sounds really weird, but it was really, really amazing, and so I have really high hopes for this one. I just really enjoy her art style, and I kickstarted this, so you know I wanted it. I'm ready for this. I'm going to be reading that one first, and then I'm going to be picking up a book by Alyssa Cole. I have all 3 of the Reluctant Royal mass markets right now, but I also have The AI That Loved Me by her on ebook. I'm going to be starting with this one because Zoe from Zoe's All Booked like absolutely loves this, and I'm just really excited for like an adult contemporary romance that I have not heard anything bad about. So I'm very, very excited. I don't mind mass markets too much. I'm sitting basically in front of my mass market shelf. But yeah, I'm just very excited. I'm definitely gonna get to this today as well because this is gonna take me not very long. But in the meantime, I'm gonna have some breakfast and some coffee, and then I will talk to you guys probably once I've finished For Goodness Sake. Hi. Did you wake up cranky from your nap? Because mommy was editing and you had to get daddy? Look at, he does this thing where he tries to hide from the camera now. We can still see you. Okay. You want to come to mommy? Yeah. He's happy to have mommy back, and he likes the camera, but he did wake up from his nap pretty recently. I was editing a video. I have to get, well, in general, I was editing a video for tomorrow because tomorrow's Thursday and I post on Thursdays. But we are going on our road trip this weekend, starting Friday. So I needed to make sure that I have my Saturday's video ready and Monday's video because we're coming back on Sunday, but I don't think I'm gonna be able to edit anything to get ready on Sunday for Monday. I've gotten tomorrow's video done and I still have 2 more videos to edit. I already filmed everything. I finished filming yesterday for everything. So I'm getting on track. I just need to finish. But also, while I was waiting for stuff to upload from the camera onto my computer, I guess I'm just gonna have to show you this way. I did end up reading and finishing For Goodness Sake Volume 1 by Kaylin Smith. I think I'm going to give this a 5 stars because it's really, really short. I think it's like 98 pages, like not even a full 100 pages. Hi. But I love the art style. I love her storytelling. Like, basically, it's all character driven, and it's quite hilarious, actually. We have 2 main characters. One, can you guys see my hand? Down here. One is our demon man named Thatcher, who apparently had gotten cursed for that anytime somebody is like intimidated or scared or panicked by him, I think that's like, it's basically all like negative feelings basically, he turns more into a demon. So like his horns grow, his eyes turn black, his skin turns more red and thick and all this kind of stuff. And then we have Rain Waters, I think is her name, who is like our hippie with the school bus. She also has a dog, and he basically ends up meeting her after provoking a motorcycle gang. And it's just sort of her trying to figure out him trying to be a little bit nicer to her, and I just really enjoyed it. Again, it was very, very short, but I want more. I loved the art style. I love Kaylin Smith's work, so I don't have anything negative to say except for that I want more, which I guess is not a negative, which is why it's a 5 stars. But this means I have finished that book, so I can start A Princess in Theory by Alyssa Cole. It is over there on the table, so I can't show you guys that right now because of this dude in the way. Yes, but I'm very, very excited to read that. I just want a nice, fluffy, contemporary romance, which I actually just edited a video where I talk about how contemporary is not, where contemporary is not my favorite genre, which is true. However, I've been loving romance, especially like adult romance with focuses on character and character development and relationship development, and that's what I want right now. So I have very, very high hopes for this book, and that's what I want to do. He probably is going to want some lunch / a snack because he hasn't eaten food for lunch. He ended up taking a nap like right before and during lunch, so I think we're gonna go get him something to eat.
Yellow, 黄, green, blue, pink, 粉红, cerulean, 浅蓝, still don't understand what's cerulean, purple, 紫, gray, 灰.
So I don't even know exactly what time it was when I last saw you guys, but it is 7 something. We are just about to get the baby ready for bed, and I have not yet started this, but I am going to be taking upstairs and reading in bed because I am dying to get to it. But I did end up editing and getting like completely ready 2 videos out of the 3 I need to do before we go on our trip. So that's what I ended up doing this afternoon. And then, like I said, this is going upstairs with me. This is for my reading a romance for the Olympic Games readathon. I don't think I mentioned earlier, but For Goodness Sake was to read a book with a beautiful cover, which, because I love the art style so much, I thought was a beautiful cover. But yes, so this is my read. I will probably not be able to update you guys on it until tomorrow morning, because I'm going upstairs, reading in bed like I was telling you guys, but Leon still needs to do some work from home tonight, so I have no way of like escaping the room for a little bit to update, which I know I haven't been doing for the last 2 vlogs anyway. By the time I get in bed, I just don't feel like escaping, but it is something I could potentially do, except for tonight. So yeah, and then tomorrow we are planning on packing more for the trip, but I'm really hoping to get a dent in this tonight because I am so excited to read it. Good morning. It is still morning. It's like 11 something. I just haven't vlogged yet today, mostly because I was trying to watch some booktube videos. We are starting to pack up for our trip this weekend, and I did end up reading over 100 pages of this book last night. I'm on page 136. I am enjoying it so far. I'm not at a full 5 stars, which is a little bit sad because I feel like almost everybody that has read this recently has been rating it a 5 stars. I still think it's really good, like probably like a 4, and I do have like 2/3 of the book left to go basically, so there's definite room for improvement, and it's just little things that are bugging me right now. Mostly our main male character of Prince Thabiso is sort of full of himself, which, I mean, he is a prince, but it's in a way that I don't personally enjoy. I don't know if it's the royalty thing or not. I do feel like he's probably going to improve over the course of the book, so I doubt that's going to bug me as much later. And then I think the only other thing is they have both had this sort of feeling, like she has not seen this man like basically ever. He hasn't seen her since, like, I think they were both like young, like preschool age or whatever it was, and she sees him, doesn't realize, you know, who he is, because of the fact that she doesn't believe that the emails saying that she is betrothed to a prince are actually true. She thinks he's just like a common waiter guy, like she's a waitress in her school's cafeteria as well as being like, I think, a graduate student. But there's been a couple times where she's like, will look at him and be like, oh, I have this feeling of knowing him. And I don't know how that can necessarily work when you haven't talked to him, you haven't done anything, all you've done is look at one, like 5 seconds looking at somebody and you're like, oh, I think I know who that is. But like, not really, it's just like a feeling. So I don't know, it's almost like it feels sort of like a destined love thing. And since this is a contemporary book, I'm not believing it very much. He also has had, similar to that, he knew he was supposed to be betrothed to her, so I feel like it's slightly different, but like, he's had a feeling that was more of like, I guess there was like a portrait of them together, or a picture of them together, like from their betrothal ceremony, and he has in his life looked back on it and wanted a relationship like that, even though they were probably like 5, and I just feel like it's not, again, fully believable. Those are basically the only 2 things that are bugging me. The fact that she's like, oh, I feel like I should know him, after like a 5-second look at him. And then him being like, none of his relationships have had the same intensity or feeling or something as his like betrothal ceremony to like a 5-year-old. I will say, I just, at the end of this reading session last night got to a sex scene, and it was very, very well written. Sex scenes and stuff for me in romance can be hit or miss because I do identify as demisexual and I need a good connection to the characters to really be invested. And I do like, especially Naledi, I love her character. I'm okay with his, but it was a good scene. I'm very, very interested in this book. It's just not quite a 5 stars, and I'm a little disappointed, but I have a feeling that it's probably going to improve as I get to know them more. And then I am also just sort of going through, I don't even know if you guys can see this. I'm on my YouTube doing comments and stuff. I do have to edit one more video today. That'll end up going up on Monday, but I want to get it done so that while we're out during the weekend, I don't have to worry about it, since we're probably not going to get home until sort of late on Sunday. So that is one of my goals today. We are also packing and getting things ready, but I do need to edit a video. So I'm hoping to finish this by the time that we leave for our trip. The vlog for this weekend is not really going to be a reading vlog. I am still probably going to be reading, but it'll probably be a little bit different than my Olympic Games Readathon TBR, because those are all physical books. I don't particularly want to have to bring physical books, so I do have a lot of ebooks on my Kindle app on my phone. I also have Scribd, and I have an audiobook on there that I think I might want to read this month, so I have things to read. It just is gonna apparently be slightly different than the TBR I had picked out. We're only gonna be on the trip for like 3 days, so 1 to 2 books worth, depending on what I actually do read. So it's not like I'm throwing off my TBR completely, but I do want to finish this one before we actually leave on our trip tomorrow. What are you doing? Standing on your wagon? You so silly. It's Mama. You made it. Yes! I love you. Aww. It is Friday morning. We are getting ready to go on our trip. And so we got a baby. We're packing stuff. Since you guys can sort of see, this is some of the stuff we're taking with us, except for this. I have about 80 pages left, so I want to say it's probably like maybe an hour's worth of reading at the most, and I'm planning on finishing this before we leave because I don't want to take any books with us besides, I guess, his books, my books with us. I have things on my phone, this thing here. I have audiobooks on Scribd, so I definitely want to finish that before we leave. Also, by the time I finish that, that's probably gonna be the last update I do for this vlog here. I'm gonna do a separate weekend trip vlog that'll be going up pretty much right after this. So stay tuned for that. But it's probably not gonna be a reading vlog. It's gonna be more of a family trip type of vlog. He sees all his stuff over here. Okay, we're gonna go keep packing. Say bye-bye. You say bye-bye. No? Okay, so there's probably noise in the background. They're currently making lunch on the stove with like the fan thing on, but I did just finish A Princess in Theory by Alyssa Cole. I think I'm going to give this like a 3.5 because it's definitely better than some of the 3-star romances I've been reading, but especially closer to the end, I just was getting a little bit tired of reading it. I don't know if it was just that it felt a little bit longer or if there were just like those little bits and pieces that annoyed me. that I just didn't like as much. So I know I mentioned stuff when I was about 1/3 of the way through this book, I want to say. I really did enjoy Naletti's character. I liked how she was the grad student studying epidemiology, and so not only is she obviously black and had to deal with those kind of aspects in the workplace, but she is a woman, and so some of the things that she had to deal with in the workplace from some of her, I think one of them was like a postdoc person there, I definitely felt very relatable, even me being just white, just because of how she was treated. Part of it was because she was a woman and having to worry about saying no to people, because you can be looked at differently by men in a very professional atmosphere, and so that I definitely felt very relatable. I don't think Prince Thabiso is my favorite love interest that I've ever read. I don't know, there was just something about him. So even though I do feel like he slowly got a little bit better, like a little bit better throughout this book, he was still very entitled. He's a prince. I mean, I should have, you know, not had too high of expectations for that. But I don't know, it was just the way he sort of talked about her and her relationship with him that I just felt a little bit, like he felt like he was expecting too much, even though he lied to her about being, you know, a normal person. I didn't mind that aspect as much in the book, except for the fact that he was still lying to her when they started having sex. Personally, I feel like I would have preferred him to have come clean before any of that happened. Like, stop lying to her about stuff before you do that. I feel like the part at the end where they go to Fisolo and like have to deal with that stuff there felt a little bit rushed. Like, I feel like I would have liked to have known about that a little bit more. And then it ends on a sort of hopeful ending, but it's not necessarily a typical happily ever after ending. I don't know if this is any sort of spoilers or not. I mean, we have more books in the series that are technically like companion books that I'm sure we'll get updates on their relationship as it goes, but I guess it doesn't end like on a wedding or on a, some books have like an epilogue of like, this is where they are, it's a happily ever after. So I guess I was just expecting a little bit more at the end. The end felt a little bit rushed. I am glad I read it. I'm very much looking forward to more books in the series, because I'm pretty sure Zoe actually said, I think the second book in the series, which I think is A Duke by Default, is her favorite. So I'm definitely looking forward to reading more. But yeah, it was not bad, obviously, but I think it's more of like a 3.5 than either a 3 or a 4. Closer to the 4 side, probably. I mean, on Goodreads it's going to show as a 4 because we have no half stars. But yeah, I think it's about a 3.5. Like I said, I really liked Naletti's character better than like Prince Thabiso. I just don't think he and the way he was acting was like my love interest that I would prefer. So that's just, that's a me thing. That's a me thing. But so now, like I said, they are doing lunch. We are going to be eating lunch pretty darn soon. And then we can pick up the RV at 1. So I think I'm going to end this vlog here because I don't know exactly how much reading and everything I'm going to be doing this weekend. But I'm going to have another vlog coming with all of the trip stuff. So yeah. We're going to end this vlog here. It's going to probably be, hopefully, slightly shorter than normal because I don't have all of Friday and then like Saturday and Sunday on here. So I will see you guys in the next one.